All right, so we're joined by my friend, my fellow Golden Eagle, Canton Tiger, Christina Nichols, owner of Authentic Creations. We thank you so much for taking some time for us today. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson. This is our entrepreneurship class, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Option Center, and we will, of course, send this to your friends at your alma mater, Canton High School. So thank you so much for taking some time for us today.
Thank you for having me again.
Oh yeah, and you were great last time, and just love hearing about all the things you got going on. But just give us a little background. Canton High, 2002. Then
2003. Three.
oh, I'm sorry, I gave you, I made you a year older. So 2003, Canton High. Then where we crossed paths there at University of Southern Mississippi. So just take us through that journey and your experience at Southern Miss.
Yeah, graduated from Kent High again in class of 2003. I have to get it correct because it's class wars all the time, always. Entered USM in the fall of 2003. Got quickly involved with all kinds of organizations and programs. Intramurals is one. That's where I met Greg, and we've been locked in since with the intramural. So if you're going to college, I would say get involved, meet people, do things you're not thinking that you're going to do because intramurals was one of those things. I mean, I am athletic, but I wasn't an athlete. But I like intramurals. It brought people together. It brought people of different races, backgrounds, all kind of things together. And that's, of course, like I said, where I met Greg. Um, I got out of there in December of 2008. I stayed in Hattiesburg for a little while and then I migrated back here to Canton. Of course, I worked um, like we all do in different places, trying to find my niche and all that kind of stuff. Had government jobs before, state level jobs. I worked with Jackson Housing Authority, Saks Fifth Avenue, Magnolia Health Plan. So I did my share of jobs and just trying to find my thing. I had my daughter in 2014, found out she was autistic in 2016, took a step out on faith in 2018, when I realized she had all kinds of therapies and stuff to do like that. And that's why Authentic Creations was born.
Awesome. And we'll definitely get to the pros of being able to care for a child while we're running a business. But I do want to talk about, because I'm glad you brought that up, because no matter where these kids are in high school, all of them are have to make decisions about where to go to college and
Mm-hmm.
whether they decide to go to college or not. And that's fine. You know, we support everybody. But I'm
Right.
glad what you said about getting involved. No matter where you go to school, find a way to get involved. And
There's too
even
many programs.
well, it's not just the fun aspect because it is a lot of fun. You get a little money in your pocket, but the skills that you learn, you work face to face with customers. You have to talk to people. You have to
Yep.
explain policies. You have to explain rules, and
Mm-hmm.
that is part of running a business. You have to
Yep.
explain to people what you're selling. You have to get in front of some, walk in a room and introduce yourself. You have to explain, hey, here's what I'm selling you. Here's how much it costs. Here's what you're going to
That
get
is
for it.
correct.
So being part of student organizations while you're at college is vital not only to your networking but to developing business skills while you're in college.
Yep. That is probably key in it. I've always been a outgoing person, so not shy at all. But I have met people that have come up through just things that they did in college that made them a better person. Like you say, talking to people. I worked in the copy center. It's like a Kinko's or FedEx, whatever. And you will be amazed at the people that come through there because you have your faculty, your staff, your students, people. I don't know how people off the street knew about the copy center, or maybe they went to USM, but all those prepared you to talk to people, customer service skills. I've worked in what they call centers before while in college and stuff like that. A lot of us worked at like this Walmart call center type thing. I only spent like a week there, but that helps you grow those skills of talking to people and knowing, hey, you can do this, you can't do that, and so forth. But get involved. There's so many programs and clubs and things that you'll find your people. That's what I say. In college, you find your people. I mean, it may not be the same set of people or thought patterns that you had in high school because, of course, you're maturing, but you'll definitely find your people at college.
Absolutely, and it's not just about the grades; it's about the network. And when you graduate, it's important who knows you. Even if you are in business for yourself, people have to know who you are in order to know that you're a reputable business. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you did talk about the when you stepped out on faith and started your business and you became a full-time entrepreneur. Now, you were always doing things like that. You just weren't doing it full time. But you mentioned something, and I think this is a great pro of being an entrepreneur. You mentioned you have a special needs daughter that has a lot of
Hmm.
things you have to take care of. You don't have
Hmm.
to ask a boss, "Hey, I need to go take care of my daughter today." So you've been able to
Exactly.
run a successful business, but you've also been able to give all the care your daughter needs.
Hmm.
And it is a huge, huge pro of being an entrepreneur.
It is. It is hard. I will say, though, those are some of the pros. Of course, being able to move on your own time, not having to clock in, not having to worry about taking off, or if you have that time. But at the same time, with those jobs that you do clock in for, you have that insurance that's already built in. You have those perks and those 401ks that's built in, or that, when you're self-employed, you have to think about it in the long run. You might not be able, because like I said, I've been doing this since 2018 or a little bit before, but going legit and making it like the reputable business that it is now, I didn't do until, and it was so funny because it happened, COVID happened like 1 month, but like the 2 weeks before that, I was like, oh, I need to get this legit and all this kind of stuff. So that's what it is. And it was in 2020. And I was like, I got my EIN, I got my state tax number, I got all these things to put things in place because who knew COVID would come in 2 weeks later? And now, what positions and people staying at home and all this. But COVID helped me so much with things because people were um contained to each other and their families. So naturally, t-shirts and things that you could bond with came about. That Christmas, I had a lot of business boom in that because people just wanted things that were personal, that were custom. And hey, that's where Authentic Creations comes in. See, it says for all your custom needs. So
Yeah, and just tell us a little bit about it. First of all, tell us where the 39 comes from in the logo
uh,
because we see your logo there behind us. And
okay,
obviously,
so
we know that it's authentic, but there's a 39 in there. So where does that come from?
and only people like Greg that know me would know these to ask me these things. So I appreciate it. So I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, um, from the University of Southern Mississippi, the Mu chapter, spring 2006. I am the number 39 on that line, and my line name was Authentic Key. And so, I mean, of course, you just migrate with that throughout your year. And so I was like, oh, it could be Authentic Creation because they already called me Authentic Key. So that's where the 39 gets inserted in. It's weird. People don't know how to spell it, but they find me. So
And big shout out to our art teacher, Miss Davis, who was also a member of the Moonu chapter of Delta Sigma
yeah,
Theta down there at Southern Miss. Great,
we're
a lot of
celebrating
great
50
people.
years this year on campus.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, just talk a little bit about what Authentic Creations does because we've seen some of your work and we'll give everybody your socials to follow you and see where they can order things. Because you do the shirts, but you can do pretty much anything that has anything printed on it because
Mhm.
you've done some things for some Velma Jackson events and obviously a lot of Canton High events, but you can do anything for any event. So just talk about some of the things you've done.
Yeah, I always try to at least give my Velma Jackson people a homecoming shirt that they can order. I think this year was a proud family. I did a great design. I had about 20 or so orders, so that was, I mean, fun in itself. But as far as what we do, um, for your seniors that may be in your class, we do the graduation stoles. We do the big posters for senior nights. We do senior pillows. I do the little skirt and sweatshirt sets that the girls take their senior photos in. I do the senior jeans. And that's all tailored towards the students. But on the other side, we do obituaries, we do bookmarks, we do, like I said, anything that could be pretty much printed. Of course, shirts is the biggest sellers. We do hoodies, sweatshirts. Um, if you kind of name it, if I haven't done it, I know I can do it. It's just that nobody has asked. But I stay so busy that I can't just say, "Hey, I'm offering this now." I'm always busy, so I'm always doing something. But if it can be printed or pressed, we can do it. And I say we, it is just me, my husband, and my family, but it's a we thing. They all come out and help. Like last week was homecoming in Canton. I had a couple schools and daycares for the whole school to order shirts. So that's when the family have to clock in. Hey, I need your help. Well, we're not gonna be able to eat.
Yeah, and that's a good segue to what I want to talk about next because we've had several students, and I know it, over in Canton as well, have come through school and started business while they were in high school, and then carry that on after they graduate, whether it's full time or side hustle. But they'll immediately start marketing, great marketing material, great research on the audience. Really cool idea, but then I look at their prices and I'm like, yeah, you're not charging enough. So it is very
That's true.
easy. It's a very easy trap to fall into as a kid in high school to
Yeah.
to worry about, could I afford this? But you can't look at
Mm-hmm.
it that way because at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, an entrepreneur has to think, what is somebody else going to pay for it, not what you're going to pay for it. So talk about how, because we're doing a project on pricing right now. This is why I really want to talk about this
Oh,
because
perfect.
it
Okay.
really is so scientific and you really have to look at, am this really going to make me money if I charge XYZ?
Okay. So that's perfect because and it may sound bad or mean, but it's not because in business, your price is your price. Yes, you can negotiate or do things based on bulk pricing and so forth. But when you have your standard t-shirt, my standard adult t-shirt starts at $22. And that's because the time you always think three times of whatever you're doing. You take what it costs you to make it your print, your shirt, your time to do it, like what you would like to pay yourself, and then you do it three times as much. And yes, I'm on the lower end because I have friends, of course, in the business that are able to charge 25 starting off in like Rankin County or Brandon because it's all about your audience. But I know, hey, and Ken, I want to build a good reputable company. I say, hey, this is a comfortable price. So you always want to think what it costs you times three, because the cost is the cost. You have to pay yourself, and you got to be able to save something. So think like that, and then you won't outprice yourself. Some people like to come in, and there are people that enter into the t-shirt business and they try to undercut what the going market is, but you don't see them making it, or because you just can't do that. You can always up your price, but you can't start too low because people are going to always expect it from you. And it's a learning thing because I've been there. I had to learn that. I also, number one rule is you don't necessarily have to get your money up front, but I don't do a deposit because if you do a deposit and the person never pays the rest before your due date, then you're still stuck with product or material and you still haven't made any money. So that doesn't serve me any purpose, with a deposit, but to each its own. Some people charge a deposit and then still charge a full price. I'm not sure where that's going in this business world because that's not a good business practice, but I've seen people say, "Hey, senior pictures are $225 with a $50 deposit, and you still owe the $225 instead of $175," and it's like you're taking
Kind of makes
advantage of your customers.
yeah,
so,
I'm with you.
so
That's
I
crazy.
always know your pricing, price out. I always compare pricing as well. When I say that, it's like, yeah, I get my shirts from X, Y, and Z, but I'm always checking the competitor sites or seeing if there's a way that I can save a dime or a dollar, which in turn will increase what I can put into my household, into my family.
Yeah, and we've also talked about it's a psychology thing because you could say if you spend X amount, I'll include this. And people
Mm-hmm.
love to see what they're getting included. And I talked
Mm-hmm.
about a sales tactic I used to use all the time when I was working in the cell phone store, and it worked almost every time. When somebody would call me, here's what I would do. They would say, "Hey, I'm calling about the price of XYZ phone." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, when you get here, it's going to be, let's just say for illustration's sake, $200." So they
Mm-hmm.
show up and they got their $200. We get ready to check out, and I've got everything that I didn't tell them about that's included in that 200. So I've got a OtterBox, I've got a Bluetooth, and I was like, all right, 200. Like, well, I'm getting all that. I'm like, yeah, it's 200. You're getting all
Right,
this.
right,
They came
right.
in expecting to spend $200, and they've got all this included with it, and it was
Mm-hmm.
amazing how many
Mm-hmm.
times that worked. Like,
Right, because you
I
feel like you
couldn't
get more
believe
for
it
your money.
myself.
Right, you
Yeah,
feel like you're getting more bang for your buck. I mean, you came in with 200 things, you're getting a phone, but when you get these accessories, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're not asking, well, if I take this off, how much it's gonna cost? You're just fascinated with getting the 200, the worth, the value of that $200. So definitely do that. Like if it's a larger order, the person that placed the shirt order, you can always give them a free shirt. I have a friend that does t-shirts. Her name is Zapeta Garrett. She always, if it's a funeral, like a memorial shirt, she'll include an oversized one so that everybody can sign it and then they
oh
can
wow.
frame it and keep it as a keepsake. And she's very creative as well. Giving shouts out to her. I talk to her almost every day. So, but yeah, when she said that, I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I mean, I wouldn't steal the idea. She wouldn't care either, but that's how you have to think. Giving your customer a little more bang for your buck. When you do get those large orders and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you're giving them some sort of a discount. Some people don't give discounts at all, but I like to keep my customers happy and know that they can expect something of great value when they come to me. So I'm always giving a discount.
Well, and a lot of times a discount really doesn't cost you anything.
Nope.
It just it's about using it wisely. Now, we've talked about customer service, and
Hmm.
along those same lines, another mistake I see a lot of entrepreneurs make is they only do things that they like, because what you like isn't what always going to make you money. Because if a customer comes with you and said, "Hey, I want this on a shirt," you can't say, "Well, I don't really like that. This is what I want on it." Because I always say you need the customer more than the customer needs you. So
Yeah,
what is, even if you don't really like what a customer wants to put on there, how can you really say what they don't or don't want?
it's so funny because that happens more often than not because people have in their brain what they want their t-shirts or what they have envisioned. And you're like, that's not like the best. So I was like, so they'll be like, what do you think about this? I was like, well, if you like it, they was like, and when you say if you like it, they come back and say, well, what do you suggest? And that's when you get your creative juices flowing and be like, I would do it like this, and that. But I've done stuff that I'm not fond of plenty of times just because I mean it's the customer and what they want, and these are custom items. So I mean, I just do what it is now, and not to throw us off, but I do have a second business. It's called CJ3 Inflatables, where
Oh
it's
yeah.
I mean, it's the opposite, total opposite of the t-shirt business. Because these are inflatables, these are bounce houses, water slides, obstacle courses, where it's just like this is our inventory. This is what we have. I mean, this is what you have to pick from. Whereas the t-shirt world, there, what size, what color, what fabric, what tone, what shade, hey, you can't put this on a leather jacket, or I can't do that. So it's just two totally different worlds, but they're both business.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to get that information out as well before we go. But before I get to their questions, something that I think is important, and I think as someone that has a special needs child, this is something that I think you can appreciate is how important is it to be able to communicate with a wide range of people? Because something that my sisters have done, and I never would have thought of this, is they've learned sign language. So now
Mm,
they can speak to they both want to be dentists. When they start their own practice, they'll be able to have hearing impaired customers because they've learned another language. And we're getting more and more the need for Spanish in our community. So how,
mm-hmm.
these kids complain all the time about, well, I just speak English. Well, that's fine. How important is it to be able to, do you think, to be able to reach maybe people that may have a disability, or they may not speak English as their first language? So, that's something that we're really seeing a need for. So do you think that's a great skill to learn as they go through high school?
As much as you can learn in high school, if they're offering it, I mean, if you just take in the world, I mean, well, we're 40 and up, but if you just take in the world how it is now, it's always going to be valuable to know just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Even if you only know the basics of Spanish or sign language, just being able to say, hey, I have this skill set to be able to contact or communicate with another group of people, that's going to take you far. Um, Even we talked about being involved in high school to college, but being involved as an adult as well. Like when I found out my child with special needs, she has Phelan-McDermott syndrome, which is on the autism spectrum. But what she's thinking, she can't verbalize because she is unable to speak. And it's a chromosomal thing. But of course, with my faith in God, one day she might actually talk. So we don't count it out. But going back to just I think me being an advocate for her has helped tremendously as well. I get to do all of the autism shirts. When autism awareness comes around, we are always doing blue shirts. We're doing that. I'm involved with Miss Felicia Lane that I think is out there with you. Well, I think she might be at the middle school right now, where her daughter died from childhood brain cancer. I serve as the president of her foundation. So just putting yourself in different places opens you up to communicate and have those relationships with people because you just never know when that comes in. But because I do t-shirts, they're like, oh, my organization is having this, and I heard about you because your baby
Wow.
is autistic, or because of this group, or because of this because I was advocating for this. So just try to stay. It just all leads back to staying involved and speaking to people and talking to people and let people know what's going on. Like you don't have to hold it in internally. Let people know what's going on in your life because you never know who you can bond with, communicate with, and those relationships that made Authentic Creations as successful as it is now.
That's that's so true, because people always look for businesses that support XYZ cause, or
Mm-hmm.
saying things like
Mm-hmm.
we support teachers, we support first responders, we support our military, anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's always going to go a long way, especially if you know that's your target market. So
Mm-hmm.
that is such a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. Well,
And it
I do have
only
some questions.
takes,
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but it only takes that one person that know that I hey, I spoke to this lady in the gas station and I happened to have on like a CJ3 shirt or something I was doing. She's like, "Do you have a card?" Not even thinking because in the moment I'm just trying to get out this gas station. But she's like, "Do you have a card?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And my card is a dual card. So it has Authentic Creations information on one side, CJ3 stuff on one side. You always introduce it, hold and say, "Hey, we do the inflatables, but if you need t-shirts for your birthday party, if you need this, that, and the other, we do that as well." So just, I mean, always, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, have a business card on you at all times. Even if I'm at a football game, if I'm at a tailgate, you just never know. You start talking to people, give them that card. That's your introduction, your step in the door. And that's all you need is one person to say, "Oh yeah, I met this girl. Or I know Christina does shirts. Here's her number." And there you go. An order already
Yeah.
placed.
And if nothing else, at least have the QR code. I know a
Yep.
lot of those on the electronic business cards. Those are very
Yep.
easy to do. As
Yep.
tech
Very
savvy as
easy.
these
And you
kids
have your
are.
phone, right? You have your phone 24 hours a day anyway. So,
Yeah. Well, I do have some questions from the students, and these are really good. I like these. This first one is Kaylin Bullock. She's in ninth grade, and she asked, "Do you ever see your business going to a storefront and having employees?"
ooh, that's a good question. Kaylin, good question. Because I go back and forth with this all the time, like all the time. There are some alumni of Velma Jackson, Rashad and Dina. Um, they went to USM with us as well, but they are big time business owners. And I might need if they haven't talked, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they have a little I don't know what you call it, a little strip mall right here in Canada that they started. And that was the first time somebody approached me about the overhead, about having a storefront. And I go back and forth because I work from my she shed and my home and my dining room is like literally a t-shirt shop.
Not a she shed. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah, I got one put in, got electricity to it and everything. And that was when my daughter was smaller because I was like, "Oh yeah, I could be out here working." Okay, well, of course, kids grow. I didn't think about it. So it is, we've outgrown that and it's turned into like my husband's man cave. But I think what works for me best is here because I'm able to be here with my daughter. She's comfortable with her having autism. She has to be in a comfortable setting so that she can ease and relax. And her home is that. So I think about it. I go back and forth about a storefront all the time. But with the way my life works, it just doesn't work out for me right now.
Yeah.
Not saying that in the future it can't, or we can't get a big enough space, but I have to think about my daughter first.
Yeah, and I've had people in similar positions say yes, absolutely. I've had other ones say absolutely not. So it really depends
Exactly.
on the situation, depends on the location, and depends on,
And the overhead. The overhead is the
absolutely.
biggest. And when
Yeah.
we say overhead, that's all the things that it takes to just cut the lights on in that business. Even if you don't make $1, learn that as an entrepreneur lesson. If whatever it takes to make that t-shirt, you have to multiply that by the building insurance, code enforcement, liability insurance. All that goes into what is called overhead, including the rent or lease for the property as well.
And that's before you pay an employee.
That's before you even make a t-shirt.
Yeah. I like this one. This is Raheem Cole. He's in ninth grade, and he asked, "What marketing tactic has been most effective for you?"
Okay. So as an entrepreneur, I have people picking up shirts right now that I didn't know were coming. Give me 2 seconds because I have a customer here to pick up their
All
order.
right, go
What?
ahead. I'll pause it. All right, we're back after her getting an order. That's a real hustler. This is Zayden Mann. He's in ninth grade, and he asked, "What sets your business apart from others?"
Okay, I don't know if I answered the previous question. I think it was like my biggest marketing thing,
Oh
but I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
want
I'm
to. I
sorry. Go
don't want to
ahead.
skip. Yeah, I didn't want to skip their
Yeah.
question. But my biggest marketing tactic is because I am. I mean, I'm a 40-year-old. I've been on. Greg, you have to tell them we've been on Facebook since it was
When you had to have a college email.
when you had to have right. That was like 2004 or five. They started Facebook, and nobody. You could only get on if you had a college email address.
Yep.
So social media, I have grown with it through its ups and downs, all versions, all revisions. So social media is going to always be my go-to. I push out things, and you just have to. It's another content creator. His name is Jeremy Jones. He's a Cake King, Sprinkle Me by Cake King or whatever. He always says just post the content. It don't matter if you get a like, a comment. People see it regardless. You scroll past stuff on Facebook all the time and not interact with it, but you saw it. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same way. So just post the content. So social media as a 40-year-old is gonna always be my go-to right now. I want to support my local. We have a local newspaper here in Canton called Canton News. I'm working with them right now just because I want to support them and doing a newspaper ad as well. Um, that'll work out. So hopefully you'll see it there soon. If not before the holidays, right after. So social media, and then going old school with a newspaper doesn't hurt. I mean, they're still there.
That's good. And yeah, and I agree. And it's amazing. Social media can be very harmful, but if you use it right, it can be very profitable.
Of
But
course.
like this again, this is Zayden Man, ninth grade. He asked, "What sets your business apart from others?"
Um, with this business, it's the creativity. I mean, there are tons of people that do t-shirts here, in Camden. We all know each other because we're all here, but everybody, you can tell who made that shirt or who designed that shirt because everybody has their own creative path. So what sets me apart is just my creativity and the way I approach the projects or the orders that people give me. It's nothing fancy or different like, oh, she's giving a shirt away. There was a gentleman that used to give a shirt away, a free logo shirt every time he made a shirt, and you will walk around Canton and see his logo everywhere. I'm like, oh, that's a brilliant, business plan. So, but what sets me apart is my creativity.
That's awesome. I got two more. This is
Okay.
Avery Harris. She's in 10th grade, one of our champion archers,
Oh,
Velma Jackson. She's straight Hunger Games with that bow and arrow now.
oh,
Uh,
archery.
so she asked, "What key strategies do you have to stay ahead of trends and maintain a competitive edge in this very competitive business?"
Jeez, let me tell you, it goes back to social media. TikTok, it used to be YouTube, and I still tell anybody to learn any skill is YouTube University. It's free. It's always there. You can stop, start it, pause it, fast forward it. You can go into a rabbit hole finding things on YouTube University once you know what it is you want to do. But that TikTok, I don't know. People are so creative in other places, in other regions, in other countries, and you just type in whatever you're looking for or thinking about, or you just go down the For You page, and it's gonna always be something that you're like, oh, I can do that, or oh, I should bring that to this area because I haven't seen anybody doing that. So TikTok is gonna be your best friend. YouTube University is gonna be your best friend. Your own intuition on, like you say, take yourself out of me. Like, hey, what would I wear this? Or you say, how can I make this better for my customer?
Awesome. One more. This is Terry Hannon. She's in 10th grade, and she asked, "Do you ever get tired of doing the same thing over and over again?"
Yes, on a weekly basis, I say I am so tired of doing t-shirts, but that's my. I mean, it's not only like my bread and butter, but it's just I have a true passion for bringing people's ideas to life. Um,
Yeah.
I truly enjoy doing memorial things, especially obituaries, because you're literally giving somebody that last connection with their family member. So you want it to be the best of the best. Yes, I get tired of it, and that's another thing. On pro tip, entrepreneur thing. You work 24/7. This is not like, oh, I'm gonna work at 8 to 5. You can set that up, but with this life, you're gonna be pressing t-shirts at 2, you're gonna be getting up at 5, you're gonna be trying to do as much as you can while your daughter's at school. It's a and then as a entrepreneur too, you have to think like this. Until you make it big and can afford it, you are the marketer, you're the accountant, you are the creative director, you have to sometimes deliver and drop off, to like my corporate people. You can't expect them to come pick up their t-shirts. You have to be able to drop off. You're everything, the loader, the deliverer. So just keep that in mind. When you want to be an entrepreneur, I'll never tell anybody not to do entrepreneurship, and just see. I mean, you can fail at 100 things, but keep doing it. Hey, if that didn't work, if you feel like you put your all into it, just keep going with it.
Love it. Well, we're almost out of time, and as always, we just thank you so much. One of my favorite coworkers I've ever had in my life. No, But a couple things. First of all, tell us where to find all your information. We see the business name back there. That is the handle on all the social media platforms.
Yes, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It's a version of it there, but it's always Authentic Creations.
Yeah, and also the other one, CJ3.
CJ3 inflatable. That stands for Christina, Jeff, and our three. That's my husband and our three children combined. So we do inflatables, water slides, all that type of thing, tables and chair rentals, tents, and those things as well. And they can be found on Facebook, CJ3 Inflatables.
Awesome. Now, the last thing before we go is, obviously you're from this community. Even though you went to Canton High, we let you make it up here at Velma. But you're from this community. You grew up in the community. You grew up in the same surroundings, but yet you've still started very successful businesses. So
Mm-hmm.
these kids are at the same time have access to more than we had. So how can they be just as successful as someone like you?
Just staying focused. I mean, if you really truly, if it's just selling snacks out your back seat or your book bag, whatever you're doing, because I know my nephew's like, I sell snacks. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if that you're supposed to be doing that at school, but yeah, just like if you're gonna do this, don't limit yourself to just that, but focus on that. Make it the best, do the best you can on it, and then it'll lead you to other ideas and like exploratory things. Because I've tried some other things. I wanted to get in like the marquee letter things that they have at weddings and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very expensive to jump off into that business because you think you just need a set of letters, Greg, but you actually need 8 of every letter because you never know how people spell their names. So,
Wow.
so that proved to be a little bit more than we wanted to, but just stay focused. Entrepreneurs always have other ideas in their brain. Explore them. Don't just jump out there with your money. Explore it first and see if it makes a
There
good
you go.
business decision for you. So I say just stay with it.
There you go. Now, last thing before we go, in honor of USM homecoming, give me a to the top.
SOUTHERN, Southern Mississippi, USM. To
All
the
right.
top.
I love it. One of my favorite people in the world, one of the best coworkers I ever had in my life, Christina Nichols. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Bye
All right.
bye.
Talk to you soon, buddy.